The CW network is definitely not known for releasing the best content when it comes to their shows. However, despite how awful CW may happen to be, they did have a few hits, one of which is The 100. IMDb actually rates The 100 as the best series on CW. However, they also rate The Flash as number 2, so I don't know if they really know what they're doing, to be honest. Regardless of IMDb's legitimacy when it comes to rankings, The 100 is a fantastic series and I would highly recommend it to anyone, especially if you're interested in space, survival, or sci-fi. For those of you that have never seen the show, The 100 follows the story of 100 juvenile delinquents that lived aboard a space station called the Ark, which was launched 97 years prior to save the human race from a nuclear apocalypse. A few episodes into the show, we discover that the Ark is running out of air due to slowly failing life support systems. Therefore, the Chancellor secretly sends 100 juvenile delinquents in a drop pod back down to Earth to test whether the conditions are habitable for the rest of the citizens yet. Considering that the entire show is built off the idea of this struggle for oxygen, no one would ever do anything stupid that risks months' worth of air for the entire space station, right? Well, this guy, Finn, thought otherwise. He decided to try to man a spacewalk for his girlfriend as a birthday present, even though he had absolutely zero experience. Unsurprisingly, he messed up and allowed tons of air to escape. How romantic. We later discover that his mistake cost the Ark 3 months' worth of air. This got me thinking though. We know that he cost the Ark 3 months' worth of air. The show mentions how many people are on the Ark, and we know how much oxygen each person breathes per day on average. Using this information, we can figure out how much oxygen Finn released from the Ark. We begin by figuring out the population of the Ark when Finn released all this air. In the episode Contents Under Pressure, the Chancellor says this.
There are 2,237 people on this Ark.
However, this population count occurs after the 100 have already been sent to the ground, and after another different event took 320 Arcadian lives. No spoilers. That means our population when Finn almost turned himself and his girlfriend into Romeo and Juliet was 2,657. Perfect, so now we have the population of the Ark. Next, NASA estimates that each person aboard the International Space Station breathes approximately 0.84 kilograms worth of oxygen per day. So, if we divide the population of the Ark by the amount of oxygen each person consumes per day, we figure out that the entire Ark uses a combined 3,163 kilograms of oxygen per day. Since Finn let out 3 months' worth of oxygen, and we have the amount of oxygen the Ark uses daily, we can multiply that 3,163 kilograms of oxygen per day by 90 days. This gives us the total amount of oxygen Finn released. From this calculation, we get 284,679 kilograms of oxygen. Okay, but what does that even mean? That's in kilograms of oxygen, which makes no sense. So let's convert this amount into volume by quickly using density equals mass divided by volume. From there, we find a volume of 199,201 cubic meters of oxygen. This might be a bit easier to understand, but this value isn't what we actually see in this scene when air rushes out of the ship. We've calculated oxygen alone, not actual air. Inside the International Space Station, the air is kept at 21% oxygen by volume, as it is naturally in the Earth's atmosphere. Since the Ark would want to resemble Earth's breathing conditions, we can assume that the air on board is also 21% oxygen, just like Earth and just like the ISS. When we account for the other 79% of air by volume as well, we find that Finn actually released 948,579 cubic meters of air. If that number doesn't mean much to you, let me just tell you, it's a lot. To put things into perspective, that's like letting out 90% of the amount of air that could be contained within the Empire State Building if it were completely empty. In conclusion, Finn made one of the silliest mistakes possibly in the history of the human race, letting out almost an Empire State Building worth of air from what is thought to be the last couple thousand humans in the entire universe.